At exactly 2:41 a.m., the silence inside Chief's house was shattered by the sharp ring of his phone. Not a vibration, not a casual buzz, a full-volume ringtone that felt urgent, almost aggressive. Chief stirred, his body aching from a long night spent hunched over a stubborn Chevrolet that refused to cooperate. His mind was still foggy, tangled in half-dreams of quarter-mile runs and roaring engines. For a brief moment, he considered letting the call go to voicemail. Then he saw the name glowing on the screen. Daddy Dave. Something cold settled in his chest instantly. Daddy Dave never called at this hour unless something had gone terribly wrong. Chief answered without speaking. For a second, there was only silence on the line. Then Dave's voice came through, and it didn't sound right. It was flat, controlled, hollow in a way that suggested chaos barely being held back. "Chief," he said quietly, "I need you to listen to me, and I need you not to interrupt until I'm finished." That alone was enough to jolt Chief fully awake. He swung his legs off the bed, his bare feet hitting the cold floor as his instincts kicked in. He had known Dave for more than 2 decades. He had watched him walk away from wrecked race cars that should have killed him. He had never heard this tone before. "I found something," Dave continued. "Something I can't unknow. And once I say it out loud, there's no putting it back." Chief stayed silent, his grip tightening around the phone. "The crew, the streets, the show, everything we built. It's about to be tested, and I don't know if we survive it." Chief finally spoke. "Where are you?" "The farm," Dave replied. "I need you here within the hour. Bring Sean and Monza. Nobody else." He paused before adding, "If the wrong person finds out I have this before we decide what to do, we're all in danger." Daddy Dave's rise through the underground racing world of Oklahoma City wasn't accidental. It wasn't luck. It was built over years of long nights in dim garages where the smell of racing fuel mixed with desperation and ambition. He started with beat-up cars, borrowed money, and more heart than common sense. Back then, the streets were ruthless. Reputation was currency, and mistakes could cost more than money. Respect wasn't given. It was earned. Dave earned it the hard way, pushing machines beyond reasonable limits and developing an almost supernatural ability to read a track in the seconds before a light turned green dot when Dave teamed up with Chief. Something clicked. Where Chief brought precision, engineering, and calculation, Dave brought instinct, fearlessness, and raw aggression. Together, they became the foundation of what the world would come to know as the 405 Crew. Their dominance wasn't just about speed. It was about trust, a brotherhood built on loyalty, shared risk, and an unspoken code that held them together through wins, losses, and devastating crashes. One of those crashes nearly ended everything. In 2015, Dave was involved in a violent wreck that should have killed him. The kind of impact that turns a race car into unrecognizable twisted metal. He survived, but survival came with a cost. Months of brutal physical therapy, lingering pain that never truly faded, quiet moments haunted by the thin line between life and death at high speed. Still, Dave played the role everyone expected. The unbreakable warrior, the steady leader, the man who never showed weakness. But behind that image, pressure was building. One drop at a time. The first person to notice something was wrong was Monza. During a routine garage conversation in late December 2024, they were talking carburetor adjustments, the kind of technical discussion that usually sparked debate and jokes. But Dave was distant. When Monza cracked a joke about a mutual friend, Dave didn't smile. He just stared at the workbench, jaw tight, eyes somewhere far away. When asked if everything was okay, Dave deflected smoothly, changing the subject with a practiced ease that left Monza uneasy. Not long after, Murder Nova noticed it too. During a crew meeting in early January, Dave sat quietly in the corner, staring at his phone without really seeing it. When Chief asked for his opinion on a challenge from a Texas crew, Dave answered seconds too late. The answer itself was solid, but the delay felt wrong. Then came the late-night disappearances. Dave showed up exhausted, offering vague explanations about scouting locations or meeting suppliers. His phone never left his hand. He stepped away to take calls in hushed tones. Chief noticed every detail. He tried to create moments for Dave to talk. Late-night drives, quiet conversations, offers of help. Dave shut them all down. Speculation soon spread within the crew. Some thought Dave was dealing with health issues. Others suspected personal problems. The truth was far worse. Dave wasn't pulling away because of weakness. He was pulling away because he had discovered something powerful enough to destroy the family they had built. The isolation required to protect that secret was crushing him. The garage where Dave chose to reveal the truth sat on the outskirts of Oklahoma City, quiet and forgotten. Chief, Sean, and Mons arrived just before dawn. Inside, under harsh fluorescent lights, Dave waited. The garage was empty except for a folding table in the center. Spread across it were documents, photographs, financial records, timing data, and screenshots of text messages. The sheer volume of material suggested months of investigation. As Chief scanned the table, his stomach dropped. Race timing data that didn't match official records, GPS logs that contradicted onboard footage, bank statements showing suspicious cash deposits lining up with races that ended in inexplicable mechanical failures, photographs taken from a distance showing crew members meeting unfamiliar individuals in secluded locations, messages written in coded language discussing payments and predetermined outcomes. This wasn't paranoia. This was evidence. "I've been working on this since October," Dave said. "It started with timing irregularities, fractions of a second that didn't add up. The deeper he dug, the clearer the pattern became. Someone inside the 405 had been feeding information to outside interests. Worse than that, there was proof of active sabotage, races thrown on purpose, failures engineered to happen at specific moments, crashes that may not have been accidents at all." When Monza spoke, his voice was hollow. "You're telling us some of the races we lost, some of the wrecks, weren't bad luck?" Dave nodded. "Someone we trusted did this. For money." The question no one wanted to ask finally came from Sean. "Who?" Dave pulled out one final sheet of paper and placed it face down on the table. "Once you see this name," he said, "everything changes." He flipped it over. The silence that followed was absolute. The name wasn't peripheral. It was central. It was someone they had trusted like family. By sunrise, the crew sensed that something catastrophic had happened. Details leaked. Suspicion spread. Confrontations erupted. Some accused Dave of betrayal for investigating the crew behind their backs. Others demanded immediate answers. The accused individual was kept away, which only fueled anger. The crew split faster than anyone expected. Some backed Dave immediately. Others turned against him, claiming he was paranoid or power-hungry. Then parts of the evidence leaked beyond Oklahoma City. Within 48 hours, the underground racing world was on fire. Past losses were questioned. Events were canceled. Trust evaporated. Meetings meant to restore unity collapsed into shouting matches. Old grudges resurfaced. The brotherhood that defined Street Outlaws began to fracture publicly. The toll on Dave was brutal. He expected resistance, but not to be treated as a villain by people he loved. There were moments he wondered if silence would have been easier, if peace built on lies was better than truth that destroyed everything. Then he remembered the injuries, the lost money, the crashes that almost killed people. Some truths couldn't stay buried. Days later, freezing rain turned Oklahoma City's streets into sheets of black ice. Dave sat alone in his garage, talking to a lawyer specializing in fraud and conspiracy. "If you move forward," the lawyer warned, "this will go far beyond your crew. Federal agencies will get involved, subpoenas, financial records. People who did nothing wrong will still be scrutinized." Dave understood. The alternative was handling it the old way. Internal justice. No paper trail. But that meant living with the lie. Chief arrived without knocking and sat beside him in silence. "I missed it," Dave said finally. "All these years trusting my instincts, and I didn't see this." Chief shook his head. "You did see it. That's why we're here." Dave looked at a photo from years earlier showing the entire crew celebrating a victory. Arms around each other, smiling. The traitor stood near the center. "I'm moving forward," Dave said. 3 days later, the formal complaint was filed. Investigations exploded. Federal agents interviewed crew members, subpoenaed records, and analyzed race footage. The accused individual was arrested on charges including fraud, conspiracy, and racketeering. Some publicly turned against Dave, questioning his motives. Others rallied behind him. Monza organized support. Murder Nova defended Dave's integrity. As evidence mounted, even skeptics began to reconsider. The Street Outlaws world would never be the same. Trust was broken, and some bonds could never be repaired. But from the chaos, a tougher and more honest community was born. Daddy Dave paid the price for choosing truth over comfort, but that choice defined his legacy. Thanks for watching. The story doesn't end here. The story doesn't end here.